you bored stiff? Do you like to explore the darkest region of a distant moon set in the confines of a claustrophobic vessel? Then let me present to you my thoughts on a little movie called Iron Lung. Now, going into this movie, as many others have, I want to give the YouTuber Markiplier, whom I've been watching since 2012, my full support. This movie has been dominating at the time of recording, and I couldn't be more happier for Mark and his team. There's no question that there's been a lot of love and effort that has been put into this movie, from a game that myself I was particularly blind to. I knew almost nothing about this game going in, but found Mark's enthusiasm for the premise something to admire. So here's a few things that I think will make you sit up from your coffin when it comes to Iron Lung. Firstly, I praise Mark heavily for being just a complete noob when it comes to filmmaking, and yet somehow making this the most super atmospheric movie of the year so far. The inside of the vessel in which his character Simon pilots is really creepy, and it adds a lot of tension with the audience as his character and the audience can barely see anything going on outside of the vessel. This is where the camera mechanism comes into play, which generates a lot of the scares in this movie. And I thought how Mark used the lighting in this with the shots, where things were obstructed by him in some instances, was great. That lighting praise does lead me to a negative thought, but I'll take on that in a second. Secondly, I found the concept of the film really intriguing. We are built around this moment in the time called the Quiet Rapture, where the stars are disappearing as well as humanity itself. The darkness tone, contrasting to the explorers trying to find some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, was something that makes for really good sci-fi. And I know the game has a lot of lore around it, even when the game is at best a 45-minute play. So there's probably going to be a lot of people heading over to those iceberg videos anytime soon with this. But now I have to come to the things that unfortunately made me want to crawl back into my coffin. This movie's biggest fumble was that it dragged so many times. I think if you were to cut off 20 minutes of this movie, I feel you would have had a much more enjoyable experience. That's just my opinion. There were times where, yes, the exploration of more mysterious elements around the vessel was needed, but this is where it capsized for me. There are times where scenes could go on longer than they should, and some are going to say that that is very accurate when it comes to a video game adaptation, but sometimes that just doesn't translate well into film. You can make the argument that it does, but for some people it's going to really turn them off. Next, I would like to say that Mark is good at writing and directing, but he was very 50-50 in this performance, which is great for someone who hasn't acted beyond a YouTube video, and trying to capture the attention of audiences who don't know him and the game's premise, that's something quite strong to do. But considering I've watched Mark for so many years now, I feel like that part of his main character should have gone to someone else. There are parts where Mark just loses me. He does a very commendable job at times with his character, and there's moments that just take me out of the film because it feels like I'm just watching another Let's Play of him. It's no offense to Mark, because he gave some really good starting points with that. But considering they had Troy Baker in this movie, who only appears for like not even 2 minutes, I feel like he would have been a better fit for this. Finally, this is just a personal trope I don't like, but if you've watched the movie, you know what I'm talking about, as I don't really want to get into spoilers here. The whole creature is giant to our main protagonist, so he must be painting himself as a god is just, it's just really dull for me. I'm not a lover of this Lovecraftian trope, and nor am I a fan of Lovecraft's work, or him as a person, or was a person. So while the ending is very intense, it's still very underwhelming considering the really strong start. Do I think you should see this movie? Absolutely I do. Do I think the praise for a YouTuber shouldn't overshadow the drawbacks of a film? Of course I do. Iron Lung for me is okay, but it's not something that I'm going to go back to. I give high praise for anybody wanting to go in with a passion project like this, but in terms of those who have made some of the best from this platform, that to me is still the duo of Raka Raka, because their movies Bring Her Back and Talk to Me have been some of the best horror that I've seen in recent years. I thank you so much for watching. Come to me in the comments to tell me what you thought about the movie Iron Lung, and I hope to see you again soon. I hope you're not bored stiff now, and we will have another movie laid out on the coffin table.